Welcome and thank you for joining us. You are watching Millennium News Hour and I am Tanzeeba Noreen. Today we have brought up and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines. Biden cancelled $7.7 billion more in student debt for 160,000 borrowers. Joe Biden lands 200 judges, highlighting stakes for the courts in the 2024 election. Biden is honoring Kenya with a state visit as the East African nation prepares to send police to Haiti. Authorities still conducting search rescue after tornado slams Iowa, at least one dead. Russia launches a space weapon in path of US satellite, Pentagon says. Blinken faces outcry over Israel's war on Gaza during Senate testimonies. Barbie will make dolls to honor Venus Williams and other star athletes. Khamenei leads Raisi's funeral prayers. Palestinian state, Ireland, Spain, Norway announce recognition. Bangladeshi MP Azim murdered in Kolkata. Rishi Sunak calls UK polls for July 4. Sherpa guide Kami Rita climbs Mount Everest for his record 30th time, his second one this month. And cricket novices US begin T20 World Cup preparation with win over Bangladesh. You are listening to Headlines Now News in detail. President Joe Biden has announced his administration is canceling a total of $7.7 billion in student debt for another 160,000 borrowers. The latest action on Wednesday brings the total number of people to benefit from the president's debt relief push to 4.75 million, according to the U.S. Department of Education. Biden, keen to shore up winning support among young people ahead of the November presidential election, had pledged last year to find other avenues for tackling debt relief after the Supreme Court in June blocked his broader plan to cancel $430 billion in student loan debt. The president said beneficiaries of the newest measures include people in three categories who meet certain milestones that make them eligible for cancellation, including 54,000 borrowers enrolled in Biden's Saving on a Valuable Education Repayment Plan, 39,000 enrolled in earlier income-driven plans, and about 67,000 people who were eligible through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Today's announcement comes on top of the significant progress we have made for students and borrowers over the past 3 years, Biden said in a statement. I will never stop working to cancel student debt, no matter how many times Republican elected officials try to stop us. The statement added that each of the borrowers had an average of $35,000 of debt written off. The Democratic-led Senate confirmed President Joe Biden's 200th federal judge Wednesday, a milestone that highlights a sharp contrast with his election rival, Republican former President Donald Trump, as they seek to shape the course over the next 4 years. Reaching 200 judges is a major milestone, said Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Our federal judiciary is now far more balanced, far more diverse, far more experienced. It's unclear whether Biden will catch up to the 234 judges Trump secured in his presidential term, but the winners of the presidency and the Senate majority in the 2024 election will have the power to shape the course for the next few years, and the two men have dramatically different criteria in choosing nominees. The White House occupant next term could even pick one or more new Supreme Court justices, which could shift or entrench the current 6-3 conservative majority. By the time the winner is sworn in, conservative Justice Clarence Thomas will be 76 and conservative Justice Samuel Alito will be 74. The next oldest member of the court is liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who will be 70. Chief Justice John Roberts will turn 70 a week after the swearing in. President Joe Biden is welcoming Kenyan President William Ruto to the White House for a 3-day state visit as the East African nation prepares to deploy forces to Haiti as part of UN-led effort to try to calm a spiraling security crisis in the Caribbean country. Some 1,000 Kenyan police officers are set to arrive soon in Haiti, part of a multilateral security support mission that aims to help quell gang violence. Other countries expected to back up Kenyan forces include the Bahamas, Barbados, Benin, Chad, and Bangladesh. The United States for years has partnered with Kenya on counter-terrorism efforts in Africa, including battling the extremist group Al-Shabaab. Kenya has participated in the Ukraine Defense Contact Group and an international maritime task force launched by the Biden administration in December in response to Houthi attacks against vessels operating in the Red Sea. Ruto's decision sent police forces to Haiti was welcomed by a top Biden administration official as an unprecedented undertaking and a show of global leadership by Kenya. Kenya is the first African nation since 2008 to be honored by the U.S. with a state visit. Authorities in Iowa continued search and rescue efforts Wednesday while surviving residents picked through debris that had been their homes a day after a deadly tornado devastated the town of Greenfield and killed an undisclosed number of people there. The tornado left a wide swath of obliterated homes, splintered trees, and crumpled cars in Greenfield, a town of 2,000 about 55 miles southwest of Des Moines. The twister also ripped apart and crumpled massive power-producing wind turbines several miles outside the town. Greenfield resident Kimberly Urgish and her husband dug through the debris-filled Wednesday that used to be their home, looking for family photos and other things that could be salvaged. There wasn't much left, she acknowledged. About 25 miles southwest of Greenfield, a woman died Tuesday when the vehicle she was driving was blown off the road during the storms near Corning, Iowa, the Adams County Sheriff's Office said. The woman's name and age were not immediately released. On the other hand, a state of emergency has been ordered in Louisiana after severe storms swept through last week, knocking out power to nearly 160,000 people and leaving 3 dead, including a pregnant woman and her unborn child. Governor Jeff Landry signed the emergency declaration Tuesday, allowing state resources to assist in the recovery process for the parishes affected by the May 14 to 17 storms, which churned up at least 2 tornadoes. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feast. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. The United States says Russia has launched a satellite that US intelligence officials believe to be a weapon capable of inspecting and attacking other satellites. A Soyuz rocket blasted off from Russia's Plesetsk launch site about 800 km north of Moscow on Thursday, deploying in low Earth orbit at least 9 satellites, including Cosmos 2576, a type of Russian military inspector spacecraft US officials have long condemned as exhibiting reckless space behavior. We have observed nominal activity and assess it is likely a counter-space weapon, presumably capable of attacking other satellites in low Earth orbit. A spokesperson for US Space Command, part of the US Department of Defense, said in a statement on Tuesday. Russia deployed this new counter-space weapon into the same orbit as a US government satellite, it said. Cosmos 2576 resembles previously deployed counter-space payloads from 2019 and 2022, the statement added, referring to past Russian tactics of deploying satellites close to sensitive US spy satellites. US intelligence agencies had been expecting the launch of Cosmos 2576 and informed allies of their assessment of the satellite before its deployment in space, according to a US official familiar with the intelligence. The launch also included civilian satellites deployed to different orbits. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was repeatedly interrupted by protesters condemning the U.S. policy towards ally Israel and its war on Gaza as he testified before United States Senate committees. At the hearing on Tuesday before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Blinken flinched from a protester who approached him from behind, waving a sign that said "criminal" before security officers carried her out of the room. The chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations and Senate Appropriations Committees halted the hearings at least 6 times while Blinken was delivering his opening statements as demonstrators stood up to shout their opposition to the administration's position and accused him of being a war criminal and being responsible for a genocide against the Palestinian people. Several silent protesters held up their hands stained with red paint or dye behind Blinken during his appearances. Barbie dolls will honor tennis champion Venus Williams and 8 other athletes as part of a project announced by Mattel on Wednesday, the others being depicted as dolls gymnasts Rebecca Andrade and Alexa Moreno, soccer players Mary Fowler and Christine Sinclair, boxer Estelle Mosley, swimmer Federica Pellegrini, para-triathlete Susan Rodriguez and track and field sprinter Eva Sabota. Throughout my career, I have always been driven by the idea of shattering glass ceilings and staying true to myself, and Barbie's mission couldn't resonate more deeply with that ethos, said Williams, who has won 7 Grand Slam singles titles. The brand wanted to note the impact of sports in fostering self-confidence, ambition, and empowerment among the next generation, Mattel's Krista Berger said. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feed. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on Wednesday led prayers in Tehran at the funeral of the late President Ibrahim Raisi as the clerical establishment hurried to organize an early election that could further erode its legitimacy amid growing public discontent. The June 28 vote to replace Raisi, killed in a helicopter crash on Sunday, will need to galvanize a population that showed little interest in the 2021 ballot that gave the hardline cleric the presidency, a role that oversees day-to-day government. Raisi died at a time of worsening strains between the clerical leadership and wider society, aggravated by tightening political and social controls and a worsening economy. Growing numbers of voters have shunned recent elections, a worrying sign for the leadership, which sees turnout as a credibility test for the 45-year-old Islamic Republic. State TV showed Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei leading prayers as tens of thousands of mourners thronged streets at the funeral in Tehran, which will move to the cleric's eastern home city of Mashhad for burial tomorrow. Raisi's coffin, as well as those of Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian and other officials who were killed alongside the president in Sunday's crash near the Azerbaijan border, were passed over the heads of weeping mourners. A resident in Tehran said many people had received a text message on their phones calling on people to attend the funeral of the martyr of service. Ireland, Spain, and Norway on Wednesday announced that they would recognize a Palestinian state on May 28, saying they hoped other Western countries would follow suit, prompting Israel to recall its ambassadors. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said the move was aimed at accelerating efforts to secure a ceasefire in Israel's offensive in Gaza. Ireland's Prime Minister Simon Harris announced the decision at a news conference in Dublin. He added that Ireland was unequivocal in recognizing Israel's right to exist securely and in peace with its neighbors, and calling for all hostages in Gaza to be immediately returned. In Oslo, Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre said the only possible political solution between Israelis and Palestinians is two states living side by side in peace and security. Norway said that demarcation of the two states should be based on pre-1967 borders, with Jerusalem as capital of both, but added that its border recognition should not prejudice negotiations over ultimate border lines. Ireland also said the borders should be along 1967 lines. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz ordered the immediate return of the Israeli ambassadors from the three countries for consultations and warned of further severe consequences. A lawmaker of Bangladesh, Anwarul Azim Anar, who went missing in Kolkata last week, has been murdered by what the government says are some Bangladeshi men. Mystery surrounds the killing as Kolkata police revealed very little, and as of last night they could not even find the body. Police in Dhaka arrested 3 suspects and West Bengal police detained a taxi driver who is an Indian national. Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan told reporters. Azim travelled to Kolkata on May 12 for treatment and was staying at a friend's house in Boranagar until he went missing on May 17. He was murdered at a Kolkata flat. So far, we know that those involved in the killing are all Bangladeshis. It was a premeditated murder, he added. The motive behind the killing is unknown, he said. Indian police are cooperating with us. Azim's hometown, Jinaida, is close to the border and it is known for its high crime rate, he said. In 2008, Azim was on an Interpol list of wanted individuals. Between 2000 and 2008, he was accused in 21 cases, including 3 for murders. He was acquitted of the charges at different times, says his affidavit filed with the Election Commission. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak called a national election on Wednesday, naming July 4 as the date for a vote. His governing Conservatives are widely expected to lose to the opposition Labour Party after 14 years in power. Ending months of speculation over the timing of a new vote, Sunak, 44 years old, announced outside his 10 Downing Street residence that he was calling the election earlier than some had expected, a risky strategy with his party way behind in the opinion polls. Sunak heads into the election not only far behind Labour in the polls, but also rather isolated from some in his party and increasingly dependent on a small team of advisers to steer him through what is said to be an ugly campaign. But he seems to have decided that with some economic gains, such as inflation falling and the economy growing at its fastest pace in almost 3 years, now is the time to take a risk and present his agenda for a new term formally to voters. Renowned Sherpa mountain guide Kami Rita scaled Mount Everest for a record 30th time Wednesday, completing his second climb this month to the top of the world. Rita reached the 29,032-foot summit at 7:49 a.m., according to Kimlal Gautam, a government official at the base camp. His first ascent of this year's climbing season was on May 12, guiding foreign clients. He is in good health and happy to have achieved this record, said Mingma Sherpa of the expedition 7 Summits Treks, which organized the expedition. They were able to briefly speak to him while he was on the summit and was in good health condition, Mingma said. Rita was still descending to the lower camps on the mountain, and Mingma confirmed Rita would not be climbing again this season and likely would travel home in the next few days. He also climbed Mount Everest twice last year, setting the record for most climbs of the world's highest mountain on the first and extending it less than a week later. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science-related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for OLED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your feast. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 18,337.91. The NYSE Composite is increased by 2.29 points or 0.01%. Tokyo stock close price is 38,946.93. The Nikkei 225 index decreased by 122.75 points or 0.31%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,157.97. The Shanghai index is decreased by 13.18 points or 0.42%. Hong Kong stock close price is 19,220.62. The Hang Seng index is decreased by 415.60 points or 2.12%. Bombay stock close price is 73,953.31. The Sensex index is decreased by 52.63 points or 0.07%. Let's have a look on today's sports story. Helped by a burly batsman from New Zealand and a former India junior, the United States have savored a confidence-boosting 5-wicket win over Bangladesh in a T20 just over a week out from co-hosting the tournament. Batting all-rounder Corey Anderson, who played 13 tests and more than 80 white ball matches for New Zealand, clobbered an unbeaten 34 to help the US chase down Bangladesh 153 for 6 with 3 balls to spare in Prairie View, Texas on Tuesday. Harmeet Singh, who played under-19 cricket for India, joined Anderson in a match-winning 62-run partnership, finishing 33 not out after hammering 3 sixes. The Bangladesh side was packed with international stars, including former captain Shakib Al Hasan, Mahmudullah Riyad, Najmul Shanto, Mahdi Hassan, Liton Das and Mustafizur Rahman. It was only the US's second win over a top-tier ICC full-member nation in T20s, coming 2.5 years after their first against Ireland in 2021. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Biden cancelled $7.7 billion more in student debt for 160,000 borrowers. Joe Biden lands 200 judges, highlighting stakes for the courts in the 2024 election. Biden is honoring Kenya with a state visit as the East African nation prepares to send police to Haiti. Authorities still conducting search rescue after tornado slams Iowa, at least one dead. Russia launches a space weapon in path of US satellite, Pentagon says. Blinken faces outcry over Israel's war on Gaza during Senate testimonies. Barbie will make dolls to honor Venus Williams and other star athletes. Khamenei leads Raisi's funeral prayers. Palestinian state, Ireland, Spain, Norway announce recognition. Bangladeshi MP Azim murdered in Kolkata. Rishi Sunak calls UK polls for July 4. Sherpa guide Kami Rita climbs Mount Everest for his record 30th time, his second one this month. And cricket novices US begin T20 World Cup preparation with win over Bangladesh. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.